What is up, everybody? It's Sam, and we are back with another episode of Pessimistic at Best, the podcast. And I am super excited to bring a very special guest to the pod today, a friend of the pod. Her name is Alexandria. Hey, girl. What is up?
How are you? I'm excited to be here.
Good. I'm excited to have you. Alexandria and I are internet friends. I think we met on Instagram. Is that right?
Yes, because I DM'd you to be like, our podcastings are so similar.
Yes. So Alexandria has a podcast, and it's called Pessimism at its Finest. So as you can see, we obviously have some similarities, and I love your podcast. I actually just today listened to your most recent episode where you were chit-chatting a little bit about British royalty and everything that has been going on. And I love it. You're obviously a pop culture fan like I am. I also know that we're both only children. But other than that, I am very excited to get to know you today on this pod.
I'm excited to chat. This is going to be fun.
And you said it was your first interview of 2022 that you've done. Who else did you interview with this year?
I think I did the Lops podcast. So they basically take facts from around the world and they try to verify them.
Wait, that's fun.
Sorry, strange laws from around the world. And we discuss them in a comedic fashion.
Okay. And what law did you discuss? That's like kind of crazy.
Oh man, I don't even remember now. It's been so many months. I should go back and listen to it. I should.
Well, I'm very excited to have you on the pod. And I would also just love to know your podcasting origin story.
Okay, so I was born in COVID and I'd always wanted to start a podcast. So I said, you know what? I have some time to kill. Why don't I do one? Set everything up. I think I made 2 episodes, forgot about it, and they were super duper pessimistic, actually. And then I'm like, is this the energy I really want to go into this with? And so I took them down and I redid it. And I'm like, I'm just going to talk about whatever I feel like. And it just happened to be pop culture. So there's that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, you're in the right place because I'm a very pessimistic person, and my podcasting origin story is that I love to complain. I do it all the time, probably too much. If you ask my loved ones, and specifically my partner, James, was like, you are literally always complaining. And I don't know what it was, but I was like, okay, I'll channel that into something. I've also always wanted to do a podcast. I love podcasts. I consume them like nobody's business.
Absolutely.
And so I was like, let's go for it. So I started complaining on my pod, and hilariously enough, for James, my partner, he edits all my podcasts. So now he has to listen to me bitch, even though that was like the last thing he wanted. But it is what it is.
That's great. You're a top podcast guest, James, that we all know.
Yes, I know. He is a regular, whether he likes it or not. I keep joking, like, at this point, you're my co-host, but that's his worst nightmare, so.
One day. He'll embrace it. One day.
Literally. Well, I'm very interested to know, like, all of your pop culture takes. You're like my own little demois, I feel. So I love listening to your podcast because you have all these really hot takes. I actually loved I loved your take on the Queen because I was like, that is honestly how I feel as well. Like, obviously, colonizer energy, we're not loving that, but is it sad that there's no longer like a matriarch of the United Kingdom? Like, yes, of course there is. So I would agree with you. King Charles is not where it's at.
No, he just doesn't bring the right vibes. I've never liked Charles, and also my grandfather really hated Camilla. Like, he'd call her Frogger. I don't know if you know Pepe the Frog. Like, he would compare Camilla to her. So
stop. That's hilarious.
I know, but in a thick Jamaican accent, he'd do it too. So it was even 10 times more hilarious. But I mean, Charles has just always been kind of like a little follower of his mom, like a little mama's boy. And now 100%. I feel like he just doesn't know what to do at 73 at this job title. And I think we should skip him and go straight to William and Kate.
Okay, I agree with that. And I also feel like as a globe, as a whole world sphere, I feel like we should like literally cap the age of anyone in a position of power, because I don't get why. I mean, we've had that issue here in the United States, as I'm sure you are aware. Like, why do we keep picking people who are above the age of 70? I just don't feel like that should be allowed.
You know, we don't have that problem here in Canada, really. I find every politician or like prime minister lately has been in that like late 30s, early 40s range.
Yeah.
Like when Trudeau came in, I think he was like early 40s, something like that. He went from drama teacher to prime minister.
Yeah, that's like a very iconic flip of the switch for real.
And like, he's just gorgeous. So I'm like, okay, like I'm proud to have you here.
There was a video circulating of him doing some sort of like, I want to say it was him. If it's not, this is embarrassing. It was some young, hot world figure who like did some sort of little wink at somebody in a crowd. And that video was like circulating the internet. I watched it a dozen times. It was like, you aren't allowed to be that sexy and also be responsible for others. But I mean, I guess I would take that over somebody who's literally ancient. So have you lived in Canada your whole life?
Yes, I have. Born and raised.
In Toronto specifically?
Well, I was born in Toronto because my grandmother was the nurse at a hospital in Toronto, so I got hospital privileges.
Ooh.
But I was living, my home address is Brampton. So that's a little bit, that's where Tristan Thompson's from. And that's a little bit outside of Toronto, maybe like 20, you can get to Toronto very easily, borders Toronto. And then I've lived in Quebec, a neighboring province. And I lived in the capital city of Canada, Ottawa, for a summer.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you have bopped around a little bit. And you just got your master's, right?
Yes, I did.
Did I see that on the gram? Yeah.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Well, that's very cool. That's very impressive. And a huge shout out to you, because that is no small feat. I can't imagine going back to school. A part of me is like, I would love to have a master's. I feel like that's very badass. That's crazy that you did that. What did you get your master's in?
Public safety and emergency management. And now I work in emergency management. So it's kind of fun and interesting. It's like every day is a different day.
Well, I'd also love to know how you came to love pop culture, because that is something we definitely have in common. I think we're both equally obsessed with it. So I would love to know.
Okay, my love for pop culture started when I was a child. And my grandparents and like my aunts are very gossipy and they're in everyone's business. And I was like, I want to be in people's business, but not the people around me.
That's the correct way to go about it.
Exactly. And so there was Young and the Restless. And then I was really fascinated with those magazines in the grocery store about what happens next. And then from there, it bridged to The Hills. And then from The Hills, it was Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And I became consumed with the Kardashians. I had to know everything. And I was really like an E.T. Canada girl, really into that. Nice. But now most of my sources are like Reddit, definitely. More than Instagram, definitely Reddit. I'm the type of person, I will like read multiple articles on the internet, join Facebook groups. 90 Day Fiancé is my flex. But I went down a black hole in Twitter the other day, so I guess Twitter is a source as well, but definitely probably like Reddit and just general Google.
Okay, that's fascinating to me, because I guess it makes sense. I guess I didn't realize that you could consume pop culture that much on Reddit. I've never been a Reddit girl myself. The only times I stumble upon Reddit are if I've Googled something and that's like one of the top hits. I'm like a little bit scared of Reddit, if I'm being honest. I like don't know how it works. So that's really interesting, because for me, it's definitely Twitter. I feel like it used to be Instagram, but then I was getting everything too late. Twitter finds out about things a little earlier. I'm sure Reddit is the same. Reddit is like underground, so that's actually really cool.
I actually this is going to sound so wild. There's a country singer called Jesse James Decker, and they started a Reddit group called JJD and Family. And I got a Reddit account because I needed to enter the black hole of like them uncovering her business practices, her connections to like Trump, all these things. I just needed to know more. And then I just realized it's a good resource. It's a good resource for finding podcast guests, number one. But it's an amazing resource just to find pop culture out. But I would say Twitter is a little bit faster still.
Okay, interesting. I mean, for me, Twitter fell off for me for a little bit because I don't know, like I stopped tweeting. I stopped putting my thoughts and feelings out into this Twitter sphere, and then I kind of stopped reading it. I would also say for me, during the Trump presidency, it became like it was just bad news all the time. So then it was just that was constant, and I like had to log off. And now I feel like finally my Twitter is back to just being silly, and maybe I'm just like following the right people again, but yeah. But I mean, I totally feel that. It's so funny because obviously if you like wait a few days when a pop culture event is taking place, you know, you'll find out everything. You'll know whatever it is you need to know. But I feel like you and I have this disease where we have to literally find out for ourselves. Like I want to be the one to uncover it. I like feel like Reddit could be dangerous for me.
A little bit. I don't get sucked in the way I get more sucked into Twitter though. I definitely do.
I actually don't think I follow you on Twitter, so I might have to. You're gonna gain a new follower today.
Yay! Thank you.
I want to know your hot take on the Kardashians. Like, do you love them? Love to hate them? Hate to love them? What's your vibe?
Okay, this is really hard. It's very individual. I love Khloe. She's my favorite Kardashian.
She's mine as well.
I think she's the realest. I don't think she really plays games. I think Tristan Thompson is her downfall, though.
Yeah,
100%.
I would agree with that. Yep.
And, you know, it's like, I don't think she's hit rock bottom with him yet. I think people think she has. I don't think she has.
I wish
we'll see.
She had.
It's just like, but you know, we have a phrase here in like Ontario that like, he's a Brampton man. What do you expect? His behavior is very Brampton-esque. And so nobody's shocked from the GTA here. So
that's so funny. I have to be honest, I did not even know he was Canadian. That was not on my radar.
He's Canadian, but Brampton men are just like that. So I'm like, I love how general.
I see.
My therapist also agrees, and he's a man, so this is so it's been verified.
Oh my God, that's actually hilarious. Also, I'm obsessed with your therapist. That's amazing.
Yeah. So I would say my next favorite Kardashian, right now it's Kylie Jenner, and I don't know why.
Okay, and we still don't know the name of her kid, right? Like, has she
even
decided?
Wolf. It's still legally Wolf. So
okay.
Yes, I know from. She has not actually put through the paperwork yet to change it.
Because she's like keeping that one very close to the chest, which I think is interesting. Just like say his name, you know what I mean?
Well, Travis Scott said that he still has no name, but they just don't want it to be Wolf because of Tammy Hembrow and the drama with that.
Oh, wait, I don't even know if I know anything about this.
See, I'm really into pop culture. I retain everything. It's so bad.
Well, spill. I need the deets.
So Tammy Hembrow is this fitness model on like Instagram. You can Google her.
She's like Australian or something. I like remember her being, is that right? Or New Zealand?
Yeah, she's Australian.
Okay. I do. So. I remember her existing.
Yeah, and she's like super fit and like has the perfect body, and you just don't know how she got it. But there's Tammy Hembrow, and Kylie Jenner invited her to an event, and apparently she had cocaine, and it turned into a whole thing. They all unfollowed her, and her first child's name is Wolf. And they didn't put two and two together until after the baby was born. And you know, in that world, your kid can't have the same name as someone you hate.
Not. As someone who did cocaine at your party, that's just like not cool.
So even though they like Wolf Webster, he can't be Wolf Webster.
Okay, I see. Well, that's like really crazy. I like do understand that though, because I mean, the closest I've come is naming my cats, and when we first adopted my cats, one of them had the same name as me, and I was like, well, that's just not going to fly. We can't have two Sams in this house. So I get it. Yeah, okay. I would agree on the Kardashians. For me, I think it's hate to love them. I have qualms with some of their isms, obviously, and I think they should just be honest about the work they've had done. We're over that. But besides that, I just think you really have to appreciate the hustle. I'm obsessed with Kris.
Absolutely.
That woman is a literal genius.
Yes.
I would kiss the ground that she walks on. She is just like She is so smart. And I just think at the end of the day, she has like a literal gift for just like building businesses, making an empire. I mean, she's just crazy. So like, say what you want about them, but in my opinion, they got it going on. Like you really can't deny that they have really carved out a place for themselves in this world. I mean, it's just crazy.
Absolutely. Like I'm obsessed with Chris. I don't categorize Chris like in my list of favorite Jenners because like she to me is everything I want to be.
100%.
So,
She's an anomaly. Mm-hmm.
exactly. But I don't consider her like I think her children are who I categorize like the Kardashians when I like vote for them. My least favorite one has to be Kendall though. If I'm gonna like I like Rob even more than Kendall. So that's saying a lot.
Interesting. That is.
But I mean, Kim's just not the vibe right now. So that's
agree.
that for me. I love the family though, but they just go through phases with me just like people do.
That's so fair. Yeah, I watched the show for a really long time. I actually have not kept up. So ever since it transitioned, I mean, now aren't they literally owned by like Disney Plus? That's crazy.
Yeah, I haven't watched it since it went on Disney Plus. I think I watched 2 episodes and gave up. I'm like, no, It's not the same.
And it's not. I also feel like it's lost some of its authenticity, which obviously is just because they're like uber famous now. So it's definitely not the same. But I'm always curious about that because you can't be obsessed with pop culture and not have an opinion on the Kardashians. So it was worth asking. And I also think it's so fascinating too to just like think of their past and then where they are now. Like the fact that they literally had Dash and like had this little store that they all worked in together. I mean, that's just like so crazy. I can't even imagine that being the way that it is now.
I know. And like Dash, I remember I went to Dash in New York. Like my friend and I went to New York and we're like, we're going to Dash. And we get to Dash. That. And we're like, this is it.
Yes, literally.
This is what we left Canadian soil for. Okay.
That's actually amazing. That is so funny. So I bet, how many times have you been to New York City? Just wondering.
So I've been to New York. The first time I ever went to New York, I was singing at Carnegie Hall. And so that's number one. I went back again to sing at Carnegie Hall, too. Then I went for just a general trip, so 3. 4 was a general trip. Then I got a job with the university doing research in New York. So I think that's probably 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh my goodness.
2023 might be 10. So either 9 or 10.
I love it. Do you love New York City?
I do. I would live there if I could, but the visa doesn't like me.
Well, that's fair. It's also insanely expensive, which I guess, I mean, Canada is expensive as well. I'm not sure about Toronto specifically, but I know that Canada can be a little pricey. But yeah, I wouldn't live in New York City in a heartbeat. I have actually only been once, famously. And it's always so interesting to me because I feel like everyone who visits the United States, that's like oftentimes the first place that they go, which, I mean, it's iconic, so I totally get it. Yeah. And it feels so silly because I have only been there one time and I want to go there. I want to visit so much more. James, his brother, actually lives there. So the only time I've been was moving him out there, and I was there for 4 days. Fell in love with it, of course. I mean, it's an amazing, amazing city.
I know. I always have something new to do when I'm there. So it's like, it's so community-esque that like the people that you meet the first time, they remember you. Like in the bodegas, they're like, oh, you're back from Canada. I'm like, yeah.
Wait, I love that. That's actually incredible. I want to hear more about singing at Carnegie Hall. That's very cool.
Oh, I used to sing in a children's choir, and then I was really good. They asked if I wanted to sing at Carnegie Hall, so I said yeah. And then I sang for a university choir, and they were like, you're really good. Do you want to come back? And I was like, yeah, cool. But I don't sing anymore, and I feel like I've lost the skill set, and COVID really took it away. So maybe I'll go back and get chorally trained again, but I used to love to sing choral and opera.
Wow. Okay. I know a couple of opera singers, and I think that is like a skill that is unmatched. I really am curious how you find out that you are good at opera singing.
I remember the pianist from my church was like, join the choir. And I was like, no. And she's like, you're here after church anyway, doing stuff. And I was kind of like, whatever. And I guess so. And then eventually I just could hit the range that was required. That's all it was. And so I eventually, like, you have to do quite a bit of cardio to make sure that you're able to like expand the lungs.
Okay.
But I mean, I found I had to, but I enjoyed it. I was pretty good at it. It was kind of effortless to me for a long time. So I just continued to do it. I can still hit the notes. It's just not as like poised as I like it to be.
Sure, that's fair. Well, that's very cool. I cannot sing for shit. I wish I could. I do sing regardless, but it definitely doesn't sound good. Singing is a skill, and it's definitely something that you have to practice, because I would say I quote unquote practice every day, but I just don't think I have the skill set required to actually hit notes and also to hear them. So that's really cool. I'm very impressed by that.
Thank you.
Well, I am also curious. I know that you are a big reality TV fan, and you pay definitely lots of attention to like the Bachelor, Bachelorette series. And I actually can never remember which one is which. So when it is multiple men pining after one woman, is that the Bachelorette?
That's the Bachelorette.
Okay, so I have only ever watched 2 full seasons of The Bachelorette. I watched JoJo's season.
Okay.
And I'm from Wisconsin, so the main reason I watched that one was because Jordan, Aaron Rodgers' brother, was on it, and famously won.
You didn't watch for Nick Viall?
I didn't. I actually didn't. No. And then I also watched Rachel's season because Peter, the runner-up, was from Madison. So I really wanted to see the hometown date, which, no surprise, they went to the farmer's market. That's basic. But so, yeah, I am honestly not very well versed. It was something that was very fun to me in college, just to have a girls' night, Monday night bachelor night vibes. But you love it, and I know you have some hot takes, and I want to know what your favorite season was of Bachelor or Bachelorette.
Ooh, this is a very, very, very hard one. I have to watch the finale of this season tonight. I hear it's a mess. But I want to say it's Nick Viall. Okay. And I know it's like a very controversial take. Mm-hmm. Bachelorette was definitely, I want to say it was Rachel. I really enjoyed Rachel. I really did. But there's someone else I'm looking for, and it was a better season. Her name's just not coming to me right now. I also really like The Bachelor Canada. I really like the first season that we had here.
Nice.
But I want to say it's Nick Viall. And I want to say it's Nick Viall because I love to hate Nick Viall. Okay. I really do. Mm-hmm. His shorts were just too tight. His pants were too tight. He was like Corinne, the golden vagine or diamond vagine, platinum vagine. That's what she called it. Yeah. That was iconic. There were so many good lines. I feel like there were new characters, and I feel like every season has just been trying to recycle those female characters.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just like that season the best. Rachel's was just like, the men were good, but they weren't dramatic. I didn't like Hannah Brown, but the men were dramatic. I'm really trying to think. I think it's a season after Hannah Brown I liked.
Hannah Brown, that was the season Tyler Cameron was on, yes.
I'm obsessed with him, first of all.
Same. I mean, who isn't? And he has since really made his way around the dating scene. There were obviously rumors of him and Kristen Cavallari. He was spotted out with Gigi Hadid. That's crazy. He's just been making the rounds.
I think on Sophia with an F 2 weeks ago, I can't remember her name now, but Paige Lorenz was talking about her relationship with him and how he wanted to make it a publicity stunt. So that's interesting as well.
That is very interesting. Well, and I do wonder in those kinds of situations how much of it is publicity, because you just have to wonder. Paige Lorenz is the one who briefly dated Armie Hammer, yes?
Yes. And then she went on Sophia the F to talk about that, or else I would have never known about Armie Hammer. Okay,
yes. Well, yeah, his stuff really blew up and was crazy, and now I think he's like a real estate agent, which is, to go from insane actor to cannibal to real estate agent is a pipeline I did not know existed.
Well, I think the minute Jennifer Lopez was like, I'm not going to work with you, I think his career is over. She reigns supreme.
She does. Yeah, that is like a stamp of disapproval you do not want as someone in that career, in that line of work. Well, that's crazy, but you can't blame her. Okay, well, I also want to know, and this one you might not have as hot of a take on. We will see. I don't know if you have noticed, but there is a new trend of famous men, celebrities, actors, singers, what have you, starting their own skincare lines, which I think is really interesting. And it also kind of started, I mean, obviously there are a couple famous men out there as well who started like, you know, nail polish brands. I'm thinking Harry Styles and Machine Gun Kelly. And now I just saw Travis Barker came out with a skincare line. It's outrageously expensive. And I believe Brad Pitt did as well. And I would love to know what your thoughts are because that is crazy.
Okay, the nail polish line, I can totally see Harry Styles doing that. And Machine Gun Kelly, because Machine Gun Kelly for sure, he does wear a lot of nail polish, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Travis Barker is actually really into his health and his skincare, so I can see that as well. I think that men don't have enough quality skincare products marketed to them, and I do believe it's an untapped market. So I don't think it's stupid. I think they're like, we've used all other avenues. There's no more cologne we can sell. Right. What can we do next?
No, 100%. And here's the thing. I'm going to have to ask the men in my life because the men that I know, and some of them I love, don't seem like skincare isn't on the radar. I'm thinking of James. No. I'm thinking of my father. It's just like not even something that is being considered or cared for. No offense, James, when you listen to this. Like the way that I've been trying to pressure that man to wash his face is just crazy. And so I think it's really interesting. I mean, obviously, when you're famous, especially if you're an actor, but no matter what, like singers, public figures, drummers, whatever it is, when you're famous, I feel like you obviously just care about those things more because you are in the public light. People are looking at you. They're talking about you. You're probably getting Botox. I mean, who knows? But I just wonder if that, like, if there will be a trickle-down effect where men will be like, okay, so if the famous guys are doing it, I guess now I should maybe, like, wash my face and put a little moisturizer on.
Maybe. And also, like, I find celebrity men, and you're right, they have this flawless skin.
They do.
But then, you know, the funny thing is, I notice more if a woman has flawless skin, like in a photo, but not in person. But I never notice like a man's skin. Like I just don't pay attention to it, and like on a day to day.
That's true. Yeah, I mean that's a good point because like even on like a red carpet or something that's happening live, I don't know if that's what I'm necessarily looking at.
Like I care more about the man's, like the fit of the man's suit than I care about the look of the woman's dress.
Yeah,
but I care more about the hair and the makeup on the woman than I care about the hair and the makeup on the man.
Right. Well, and I mean, half the time I feel like you're not even thinking about the fact that the men are probably wearing makeup. They're dressed to the nines, even though they look like they're not. And to be honest, that probably takes even more work.
That's true. I remember like I saw Chase Crawford in New York City from Gossip Girl.
Yes,
he plays Nate in Gossip. Oh, that man had makeup caked on his face.
Really?
Yes, he did. So much makeup. It was like, I'm like, oh my God. But you could see the foundation like as he was walking down the street in broad daylight.
Oh no. That is actually hilarious.
Yes. So there you go.
That's so funny. Well, honestly, shout out to him because at least he was wearing it confidently. Well, we have to assume.
We have to assume.
Okay, how many famous people have you seen just like out on the streets?
Well, I used to volunteer at the Toronto International Film Festival, so I've talked to a few and I've seen a few.
Wow.
My most iconic conversation is with Jake Gyllenhaal. So
stop. That's so cool. Are you a Taylor Swift fan?
No.
Okay, me neither.
But I've seen her live in concert.
Have you? I have never.
I got the tickets for free. How could I say no? And then this is the most embarrassing part, Sam. So my uncle gave us free tickets to take my little cousin, who was 13 at the time.
Oh, I love that.
And I go and all his friends and their kids are there. Sam, I knew every word to every song and I was singing along. And I was embarrassing her. I don't like Taylor, but I didn't realize, you know, like subliminal messaging?
Of course.
Because I don't have her on any playlist. I have You Belong With Me on a playlist and Tim McGraw, but that's it. But I don't have her on any playlist. So I'm like, how do I know every song she's singing? It's embarrassing.
Well, it's one of those things where like she is hard to avoid, truly, at the end of the day. And I'm not going to sit here and say I don't like some of her music because I definitely do.
Yeah.
I listened to Red when that came out. I think I was in high school. That was like a big, I was into her at the time.
Yeah.
She's like almost the opposite of the Kardashians for me. Like I sort of love to hate her, which is,
Absolutely.
I don't know if that's fair. I do think she probably gets a lot more hate than she deserves. But I also just like, I don't know, something about the Goody Two-Shoes act, I'm like over it. Like, we get a girl, next.
It's not even the Goody Two-Shoes act. There's just always something that seems fake about her to me. And I don't know what it is. I have friends who ride or die for her.
Same.
So I remember I had to sit in line for like 3 hours trying to get tickets to Taylor Swift at TIFF for my friends. But I mean, at the end of the day, she's just never been my cup of tea. I've always been Team Kanye. But at the same point in time, she has some good songs. She's good at her craft.
She is. We can't deny that. She's definitely an amazing songwriter. I will give her that as well.
She's not a great singer, but like the songs are good.
Yeah, but I want to know more about Jake Gyllenhaal.
I can tell this story. I'll tell this story. I got to TIFF really early for like a volunteer shift. I think I got there like 6-something in the morning. And they were like, great, you're here. We can go get coffee now. Jake Gyllenhaal should be, like, we shouldn't be long. He should come after we get back. 5 minutes after they leave, Jake Gyllenhaal walks through the door by himself, no security. And he's like, hey, and I'm fully exhausted. Like, I just need to sleep. I have no coffee. I'm looking at Jake Gyllenhaal and I could care less. And he's like, yeah, is this TIFF? I'm like, yes. And he's like, is this where I'm supposed to be? I'm like, yes. And he's like,
do you know who cool.
I am? And he's like, so can I sit down? I'm like, sure. So he literally pulls up the chair right beside me. He's sitting beside me. And he's like, so what's your name? And I'm like telling him Alexandria. And he's like, cool, I'm Jake. Like, I don't know who you are. And I'm like, yeah, I know who you are. And he's like, so God. What do you do? I'm like, I'm university. He's like, for what? And he's literally interviewing me like you're doing right now. And I was just so tired, no caffeine. I could care less. But we talked for about 15 minutes and he's like, just follow your passions. You seem to know what you want to do, so on and so forth. Kind of gave me a little pep talk that I did not need. I just needed coffee. And then they came, saw that he was there, and they're like, why didn't you call us? But they didn't give me a number to call them at. So Jake just asked me 21 questions and I answered them.
That is actually incredible. I also think that is really iconic of you to just be like, whatever. That's like amazing. Sometimes celebrities need that. It brings them down a few notches. I think that's good.
The best one though, and I'm embarrassed to this day. I don't know if you know who Benedict Cumberbatch is.
Of course.
Okay, so he had a movie called The Imitation Game.
Yes.
Okay, so it was screening at TIFF or premiering at TIFF. And Benedict walks by me and he stops. He's like, hey. I'm like, hey. Friendly guy. He's like, I'm Benedict. How are you? I'm like, good. I'm chatting for like 2 minutes. And then he's like, are you going to watch this movie? I'm like, absolutely not. And he's like, and he's like, why? And I'm like, it just doesn't look good. And he's just like, trust me, it's really good. Like, you want to see this. I'm like, no, Benedict, I don't. And he's like asking my manager at TIFF if I can like leave to see it because he's convincing me I have to see this movie, Sam. And I'm just like, no. And he's like, I'm telling you, it's great, like, convincing me. Anyways, he leaves. He's like, sure, last time, like last offer. Goes inside. Sam wouldn't win an Academy Award. I still can't watch the movie till this day. I'm so humiliated.
You haven't seen it still?
I'm humiliated, Sam. I tried to convince this man that the movie was not that good, that I needed to stop what I was doing. And he's trying to convince me.
The Academy said otherwise. Oh my God.
I wonder if he thinks back to, like, I wonder if I ever run across his mind.
That is actually amazing. I mean, shout out to him for like really putting the marketing moves on you because he was like, no, I'm telling you, this is a good movie.
He's like, this is great. You need to see this. And he's like, you have to see it. I'm like, no, I don't. But I'm like,
oh my God, that's incredible.
Yeah, I'll never watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. At this point, I really do understand that. That's so funny. Well, actually, I haven't run into very many famous people in my life. Like, there are, that doesn't really happen in Madison, Wisconsin. Surprise, surprise. So we'll see. I'm hoping for more celebrity sightings here in Chicago. I have absolutely no, I mean, I don't spend a lot of time like down on the Magnificent Mile, but you never know. But I have this like really crazy fear that it's going to be some famous white man and I am not going to know who it is. Like he'll be standing in front of me and I'm going to be like, okay, it could be any number of people. And for some reason it's not going to come to me. And I literally have this fear that that's going to happen to me. And I feel like I'm destined at this point to just like completely fuck it up.
Sam, funniest thing at my last job, my coworkers, I can pick out any white man and know exactly who he is from a distance. My coworkers would line up pictures of like various white men. And then they would be like, who's that? And I could tell you the name of every single one, even though they all looked the same.
Oh my God. And they do, especially the famous ones. Like I swear, they all have the exact same haircut, the exact same vibe, that beautiful, gorgeous skin.
I know exactly who that one is. I know their name. I know, it's just like, it's an illness. It's a disease.
Oh my God, that's so funny. That is so funny. Well, then I'm going to have to like run it past you. I'm going to be like sneakily sending you photos like, who the hell is this?
Oh no, I know a famous person when I see one.
That's fair. And that is how it's supposed to be when you're a pop culture fanatic. But I'm bad at faces. Are you on TikTok?
You know what? I'm on TikTok, but I'm like, I can't 100% get into TikTok. I don't know why.
I feel the same. I like do it in spurts. I have my notifications turned off because I don't want to see it. If I am on it, I'm on it for 3 hours, but then I don't look at it for like a month, and then we'll come back and revisit. However, there was like this filter on TikTok that like a friend must have used. So I tried it, and it was like, it's this little filter where it shows you a famous person's eyes. And then you have like 3 seconds to guess who it is. I bet you would be incredible at that game. The amount of drafts that I have saved that I will never post of me trying to play this fucking game, it's crazy. And I'm terrible at it.
I'd get Scarlett Johansson so quickly. Probably would. But like, it's like, maybe. I'm good at noses though. If you show me a nose, I can tell you the person.
Really? That's an interesting one.
I remember everybody by their nose. And then if I look at their nose, I remember where they met them, remember details about them. I won't remember their name, but I could be like, yeah, you have 3 kids. You're born like September 10th. You grew up like, but I'll never remember your name. People get really creeped out by it. Yeah.
You're like, I can place that nose.
But like with the masks, I couldn't do it. So yeah, but I can actually place noses.
That's incredible. That is a skill. Because I feel like eyes are one thing, I mean, for the most part, that's like part of the human experience is looking into another person's eyes, but perhaps it's also staring at their nose. Okay, would it completely mess you up then if somebody got a nose job? You'd be like, I don't know who the hell you are.
Ooh. I haven't absolutely struggled with it yet, but I've had friends get nose jobs, and I know they're getting a nose job, so
right,
I don't think
you're
I
prepared.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one who threw me off was Cardi B, though. She doesn't sound the same anymore. So.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to pay more attention to that. I guess I didn't even realize she got a nose job. Was that recent?
Yeah, it was recent, but she sounds completely different.
And that probably also is the same for when she sings.
Her rapping's a little bit different now, yeah.
Do you like Cardi B?
I love Cardi B.
So do I.
love that she's just herself, and I love her and Offset. I really do.
So do I. He's obviously made a couple of mistakes, but I just think she clearly loves him literally so much, and I would agree with you. I can't name anyone who is more true to themselves than Cardi B, and you got to respect that. Plus, her music is literally amazing. So
I just love her rapping. I love this Nicki Minaj Cardi B feud. That doesn't need to be a feud. If they worked together, it'd be amazing.
Okay, I think so too. And like, who started it? Because that is tea I do not know. It seems like it's mostly coming from Nicki's side, but that's just
it is Nicki who started it.
And like, was that all for publicity? Is she on it? Is she being for real? She is territorial, I feel.
She is. It started with the whole motorsport song, and she felt that they were giving Cardi preference because she was Offset's girlfriend at the time, which I'm like, of course they're going to give Cardi preference. She's Offset's girlfriend.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So like, she decided to film. Oh, and also I think they used the same like wig person, but Cardi B booked the wig person before Nicki. But Nicki had been using the wig person for more years, and it turned into a whole. Yeah. So then they fought at that like Met Gala event.
Yes. I like remember that really blowing up, and then ever since then it's been like a very public feud, which is just crazy.
But honestly, it's Nikki.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
just one of those things where I feel like they could, if they joined together, if they joined forces, they would be unstoppable, truly.
They really would. Like Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B with that one song that everybody loves to hate, but I love it. There's nothing like it though. And the funny thing is my guy friends that sing it more than my girlfriends. So
Really? That is funny. Do they know the
I
dance?
know. No, they don't. You know what? They haven't tried it, but if it starts playing, they'll start singing.
I love it. I would like love to know that dance, but I'd look absolutely insane if I even tried. So
I love watching it though. It's hypnotizing.
it is. It really is. And like when people try it on TikTok, I actually saw this really. I'm going to be honest, I don't think that it was the dance, but I saw this really crazy video. Here I am talking about TikTok like I'm actually on it all the time. I swear I'm not. But I did have a recent spurt. So, and I saw this really crazy video of a bunch of men in what looked like a country-themed bar who were doing something very similar on the floor. It was very crazy.
I love that. Like, I like that Neon Moon TikTok movement where all the countrymen were like doing the whole Neon Moon
Yes.
dance.
Yes.
That was my favorite thing. That's what made me make a TikTok account, actually. But
I feel like you could post all of your hot pop culture takes on TikTok and they would take off. That's my opinion.
you know, I could. I actually have a highlight on my Instagram story about like how to calculate what to pay per plate at a wedding, and now people
Incredible.
actually come. People come to me now and they're like, "Hi, this is the wedding, this is the venue. Can you calculate what it is per plate?" And everybody's trying to get me to make an actual TikTok about it, and I'm kind of like, because apparently people don't know how to calculate that.
I don't know how to calculate that.
So I'm kind of like, I've been to 6 weddings this year. I have 3 next year, so it's
That
it's
is
a
very
time.
crazy. Well, then
I had one
you're.
in Bogota, so
Ooh. Oh, that
that's
was like
what.
right before we almost recorded. Yes.
Yeah,
We had
so
to
I have more.
reschedule.
I have one this weekend and one in 2 weeks, so we'll see.
That is crazy. Some of my friends, I'm at the age where my friends are like just kind of starting to get married and propose and yada yada, and I already can see how much it is going to chew into my pocketbook. I don't know how you do it.
I literally don't know how to do it either. I'm like credit. I don't know and the thing is because of Instagram, you need a new dress for every wedding.
Ugh, I know, literally. Okay, do you do like a Rent the Runway situation or any of the like rental services? Because that's something I'm considering literally just because of wedding season.
No, I go to Hudson Bay Company. The flagship store on Queen Street West, they have actual stylists there, and you give them your budget, and you could be
Ooh,
like $50, and then they'll go to the sale rack and they'll like match you based on like your size and your budget, and you can get a dress for that. That's not that expensive.
that also sounds like a very curated and fun experience. So that's amazing.
And then I go back and show them how it looked on me. I went there on Monday and showed them a dress that they picked out for me, so it was kind of great.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun. Well, that makes wedding season a little bit more exciting. I know. I feel like the pressure from social to like have a different outfit for literally everything you do is just crazy.
It really, really is. But like, I don't think I'm gonna have a wedding after this. I think I'm like a city hall kind of girl.
I feel that because honestly, it is so much work. Even just the amount of stress that I see the girlies going under while they're planning
Yeah,
their weddings is just crazy. I always thought it sounded fun, but now I think it just sounds like too many decisions.
I don't like. I can't do it. I'm just like, just hand me the paperwork. Just
Right.
hand me the paper. I don't even want to pick the dress anymore. I've picked too many dresses to attend weddings.
100%. Well, a wedding in Bogota is fun. Was it a close friend of yours that got married?
Yes, it's one of my best friends from camp. Actually, we were camp counselors together.
Oh, I love that. I love a camp
Yes.
counselor. I was not one myself, but I have lots of close friends who are camp counselors, and you are all a special group of people, like truly. That camp counselor
Thank you.
energy, I love it.
I miss it. I miss it so much. But you have to do real life now.
I know, and it is much more boring. I was a camp kid. I went to camp. I mean, you're an only child, and
Yeah.
I don't know if this resonates with you, but I definitely was like I was one of those kids that was like hanging out with the adults. Like I was at the adults table.
Yes.
I think just growing up and having it be me and my parents, I didn't know how to interact with kids when I was a child. So the first time that I went to camp, it was like literally a horrendous experience. Like I was like, this is my literal nightmare. I don't know how to talk to these people. I don't know how to interact with them. I'm not used to doing chores. Like it was just so crazy because I didn't know how to be social. And I wasn't really like an outdoorsy person as a child. I mean, I wouldn't really even say that I am now, but that's a topic for another time. But yeah, like my first camp experience was really crazy. And I remember just being up in my bunk bed, like writing these really sad letters to my grandma being like, I hate it here. Like I want to come get picked up. And it was like literally a week-long camp, like relax. But then I went again, and then I started to get put the feelers out there for like what the camp vibe is all about. There's like the little dance at the end. You get to do all the singing around the campfire. And I was like, okay, I can get into this.
No, I did day camp the first time oh my God, I'm so bad. I don't like outdoorsy things either. And my camp director at the time came to me and he said, after like 5 years of being here, I think it's time for you to do overnight camp. And I was like, I can't do it. He's like, why? And do you know what I said? This is the most iconic line. I can't live it down to this day. Like if people bring it up, they write it on my Christmas cards every year. I said, I can't go to overnight camp because Black people don't swim.
What did he even say?
He said, Black people in fact do swim.
Okay, and at the time, did you or did you not know how to swim?
I do know how to swim. Not well, but I do know how to swim.
I mean, I would say same for me. I actually, I would call what I do more like not drowning. That's
what it is. Yeah. That's what it is. But I was like fishing for any excuse I could find. And I'm just like... Let me use that one. I don't. It's like the one excuse that I believe. I think even a Christmas card this year, my friend wrote it in there.
That is amazing. You know, and that is a really good one-liner that will stick with you. It really will.
For the rest of my life. And I was like, he's like, yeah, you have to go. And I did go, and I did swim. So there we go.
I did go to camp once with a friend, and she did not pass like the swim test in order to be able to go in the deep end. So I also pretended to fail because I was like, "We're sticking together, sister. I would never go in the deep end without you."
No, I just was like, I enjoyed overnight camp a lot. Actually, I enjoyed the canoeing. I enjoyed the campfire. I enjoyed all of it. Doing everyone's hair at night. It was a great experience.
It is, and it definitely like bonds you as kids. I'm still Facebook friends with some of the people that I went to camp with, and that's like an iconic kind of friendship. You can't really replace that.
No, you can't. So, I mean, I loved it. I'd do it again, and I liked being a day camp counselor. It was so much fun.
How long did you do that for?
I did it, so I volunteered starting at 13, started getting paid at 16, stopped at 21. Was it 21? Or no, stopped at 20. There we go.
Very nice. Very nice. And I have to ask, what made you decide that you wanted to get a master's? Is that like a field where a master's makes a big difference?
What happened was that I went through a very bad breakup, and one of my friends contacted me one day, and she was like, I had to work with your ex on a project. And I was like, to my professor, my favorite professor, I was like, sir, I need a new profession. And I switched professions, and I have not bumped into him since. But side note, I applied to a job at a company, and I was telling my friends, I'm like, yeah, it pays like $20,000 more than I make today. And my friend out of the group chat's like, I didn't want to tell you, but he works there. I never canceled an interview so fast in my life.
Oh shit! Oh my God, that's crazy. That was pre-switching, I assume. Pre-switching professions?
No, this was a few months ago. So I switched professions completely, and because of COVID, they needed emergency managers, so I got a job before I even finished my master's.
Okay.
But I was settled in this job, just applying, doing feelers out there. Got an interview to somewhere I wanted to go, accepted the interview, and my friend was like, he works there in the field that you left, but even though you're going for a different field,
oh my God,
it's the same
crazy.
Company. I know, so I was about to he is one.
Aren't all ex-boyfriends a curse? I mean, geez.
Exactly. So you know what? That's why I changed professions. But I love it.
Well, I don't blame you. And I'm glad. That's huge because obviously if you didn't, that'd be a different story. But that's very cool. How long was your master's program?
2.5 years part-time. And I worked full-time and I did it part-time.
Okay. Okay. You are a busy woman, I have to say. I find it very impressive. And you do podcasting on top of this, plus you have time to keep
Yes.
up on all the pop culture things. I mean, that's incredible.
It's my bus rides, my subway rides that I use for pop culture. So
I am
it's
new
good.
to the subway game as someone who just for the first time in her life now
Yes.
has a commute. So yeah, I'm experiencing that as well. It's like perfect for podcasting, like, well, listening. Obviously, I don't record on the subway. That'd be crazy. But yeah, it's like just a really good time to catch up on all of those things because there's nothing better to do.
That's true. Unless you're going to listen to music. Like my friends tried to convince me that Harry Styles was great. Because I don't get it yet.
Really, because
And
I do. I love Harry. I really do.
I can't get it. And so they're like, you have to give him a shot. And so the first song I ever heard from him was As It Was in those like clips on TikTok.
Of course.
And so I think I heard Watermelon Sugar like in a restaurant or something, but I wasn't paying attention. And I said, okay, I'm going to commit one entire subway ride to listening to Harry Styles.
You were like, that's going to be the test.
That's going to be the test. And I still don't get it. So
I mean, if he didn't pass the subway test, then you know he's just not for you.
I appreciate him. They just painted a mural of him in Toronto by Young Dundas Square, which is our Times Square. I get it, but he's not my it's not my cup of tea.
I can respect that. Yeah. I assume you weren't a 1D girly. One
I just
Direction.
started listening to One Direction 2 months ago, and I really like their music.
Do you? Okay, so that's interesting. I like 1D as well. I wasn't like a One Direction fan when they were actually a band, you know?
Yeah.
But since they have disbanded,
Yes.
like now I return to the music and it really was they were up to something, okay? I don't know who had the smart idea to put all of those boys together and make a boy band, but
Simon Cowell did.
a genius. He knew what he was doing.
They're not Backstreet Boys good, but they surpass NSYNC, definitely.
Definitely, I would agree with that. That's a hot take. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Are you Backstreet Boys or are you NSYNC? I need to know. Side note.
To me, I don't know. Like I definitely listened to NSYNC more when I was a kid, but if I go back on it now, it's like probably Backstreet Boys.
100%. I was never like 100% NSYNC. I like their songs, but I know every single Backstreet Boys song.
Do you really? That's something to be proud of.
Thank you. My mom won't play it on my road trip anymore because I'll sing everything.
She's like, we've had enough out of you.
Yeah. Please stop talking.
Oh my God, that's funny. Well, yeah. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure chatting. I know that we're at about an hour, so I certainly want to let you get to your evening because it's what, 9 p.m. there?
It is 9:04 exactly.
Incredible. But this is a treat, honestly. And it is so nice to just finally chat with you because I truly feel like we have so much in common with the exception of Harry Styles.
As It Was is a good song, and I need to see The Policeman. So when I see The Policeman, I will let you know. Maybe he'll change my opinion.
Are you going to watch Don't Worry, Darling?
The trailer didn't really appeal to me. It was The Policeman. I was trying to get tickets, so I think that's where I'm going to go.
Okay, I feel that. I know. I like the movie itself. I just feel like at this point I'm watching it for the drama. I need to close the loop on that one, you know?
He got really bad reviews at TIFF, so I feel bad, but he makes money. So I'm gonna watch his movies and maybe he'll catch me on the acting front and
right, instead of the tunes. Yeah. I know. Well, and people are comparing him now to, or this for him, they're comparing Don't Worry Darling to Harry as Twilight is to Robert Pattinson. And I was like, that's interesting. That is interesting. Cause like I get why Robert Pattinson is like, okay, Twilight, yeah, trying to distance myself. But like at the same time, you really do have to respect the fact that that is why he is famous. I mean, truly. That just like blew him out of the water.
I was reading, I'm really into like After, which I found out about that series after it, like they changed it from a Harry Styles fanfic.
Yes.
I didn't even know it was a Harry Styles fanfic until some girl called me out. But at the end, like I read the whole thing, oblivious to I'm just oblivious to Harry Styles. But then
Not on your radar.
no, and they were like literally comparing the acting quality of like Harry to like the actual character that he was supposed to be mirrored after, and how like the acting's bad in both capacities.
Hilarious.
So we'll see. I mean, yeah, I get it. We all need a starting place, and Harry's starting out. He has to be good to have so many roles.
It's true. Well, and I feel like at this point, I mean, I've never seen Harry in concert, but I have some friends who are super obsessed. Mm-hmm. And he, even just over the last couple years, the amount that his concert tickets have increased, I mean, he is like rising to an exponential level of fame. It is very crazy to see.
Isn't he dubbed the new King of Pop?
I believe so. Yes. Yeah. And that's like quite the title. So,
you know what? Maybe I gotta give him one more shot.
Another subway ride.
One more, like just one, you know, and then I'll let you know.
I'll be waiting. I really will, because I see something in him.
No, I see. You know what, Sam? I see it too. Like I see the appeal that he has. It just he doesn't captivate me.
Okay, that's fair. You know, and that day might never come, but after The Policeman is when we'll know for sure.
Well, no, I have to see. It's on my list.
Well, it was an absolute treat having you. I'm very excited. Before we wrap up, something that I love to do as a fellow incredibly pessimistic person is the little thought exercise of rose and a thorn. Have you ever done one of those?
No.
So it is essentially where you're trying to kind of look on the bright side. So the rose is like the best part of your day. The thorn is the worst part. And then the bud is something you can improve on.
Ooh, okay. Rose, thorn, bud. Got it.
I would love to know yours.
For today?
Yes.
Ooh, the rose of today was that I was seated across from an incredibly attractive man who does not live far from me. That's the rose of the day.
That is a rose. And do you know actually where he lives, or you just know he's in the vicinity?
I just know he's in the vicinity based on the bus stop he got off at. So there's that. He's new. Then the thorn of the day is probably that my favorite student didn't fill out his paperwork correctly. So I don't know if that's like a bad thing for me. The butt of the day. I don't know if I have a butt of the day yet. Is the butt of the day this podcast? Because we're doing it, and then when it comes out, it'll be better. Is that the butt?
I like that. That counts.
And like butt into amazing like bloom.
Yes, and it is the butt of our blossoming friendship, which I'm excited about. So I think that is a bud. That is a bud for sure. Okay, well, I'm trying to think about mine. I think for me, I'll start with my thorn. Classic pessimist. That came to mind first. I woke up late this morning, and I hate when I do that. I mean, there's nothing like starting your day off with stress, but I woke up at the time that I would normally leave my house to go get on the train. So was doomed to be late. I knew I still needed to go into the office today because my manager does not have a key.
Oh no.
It's currently lost, and it was just the two of us. So I was like, okay, well, I can't call out because I'm sure she's like literally already on her way because I'm the worst. And it got worse when I managed to leave my house. I was running about 30 behind, not like a huge deal, but in where I live in Chicago now, there is this like the sweetest man who is the crossing guard for all of the elementary school kids. And I was just like, he is going to know that I am running late today, and I'm so incredibly embarrassed. And that was my thorn, 100%.
Aw, he'll forgive you.
He gave me a knowing look, and I was like, I get it. Okay, thank you. So that was my thorn. I would say my rose was this podcast, which I know sounds like a cop-out answer, but I was looking forward to this all day.
Aww.
I really was. And it was just so nice to have a little chat with you. We have a lot in common. Now I have a reason to come to Toronto. I know that you're not supposed to say the T. So I've been practicing. So yeah, no, that was definitely my rose. And this was just a treat. And then I would say my bud, something I could improve on, something that I'm sort of looking forward to would be hopefully getting up at the right time tomorrow. That is what we will work on for next time.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Well, thank you so much, Alexandria. This was actually the best. And I would love to have you on the pod again soon. So we will definitely have to do this again.
Yes, and congrats on 5,000 downloads, streams.
Thank you. Yeah, it feels good, especially after taking a bit of a break. So it's good to be back. I love podcasting. I mean, I'm sure you feel the same. It just is like it's cathartic. It's a little release at the end of the day. It's the best.
I love it. It's my favorite thing. So thank you for having me on.
Oh my gosh, of course. And we will also link off to Pessimism at its finest in the show notes because you guys absolutely have to go and listen. Her podcast is hilarious, you guys. Seriously. It's like all of the pop culture takes you could ever want and more, especially for the reality TV girlies out there. And yes, I'm just excited and we'll definitely have to do this again soon. And thank you all for listening. And I will chat with you all again next week. Thanks. Bye. Another cathartic convo in the books. I feel better. How about you? Thank you so much for listening. Now I just want to jump on here and say, don't forget to follow and or subscribe to the pod on your favorite streaming platform for new episodes every single week because I know you can't get enough of me. Additionally, if you want to gain access to exclusive episodes and behind the scenes bloopers and lots of other goodies, join our Patreon and support the pod with your hard-earned American dollars. You can find the link in our show notes, or you can also visit us at patreon.com/pessimistic@best. And of course, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at pessimistic@best. And if you're as obsessed with me as I am with you, you can find me at Sam Georgeson on all platforms. And last but not least, I'd like to give a special shout out to my podcast editor and producer, the love of my life, James Arbai, whom I literally could not do this without. So thank you, James. I love you so much. And thank you guys for joining me again this week. I love you too. And I cannot wait to chat with you again soon.